Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I used to think marriages ended with shouting or slammed doors. Ours didn't start that way. Ours began slipping in quiet moments. Little gaps, small pauses, things most people would walk past without noticing. But I noticed everything. My name is Andrew, and for 6 years, Kimberly and I had a steady life. Not perfect, not flashy, but steady. We shared slow Sundays, late-night noodles, and a routine that felt solid enough to trust. Then, slowly, something shifted. It started with Kimberly staying later at work. She would come in through the door at odd hours, saying, "Long meeting," or "We're behind on a project," then drop her bag and head straight for the shower before talking. Her tone was different, lighter with others, careful with me. Her phone, once left anywhere, now stayed face down, even when she went to the kitchen to grab water. One evening, I met my friend Michael at a small bar a block from my office. He watched me sip my beer, studying me like he was trying to figure out a puzzle. "You good?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Why wouldn't I be?" He shrugged. "Kimberly walked past my building last week. Didn't look like her usual self. Seemed distracted." I didn't react. I never do immediately. I let things settle first. Later that night, Kimberly walked into our living room scrolling through her phone. I asked, "Everything okay at work?" She barely looked up. "It's just busy. You know how it is." I nodded, but something about the way she said it, quickly, almost rehearsed, stayed with me. There was nothing dramatic happening, no obvious fight to point at. Just distance. A quiet kind that doesn't announce itself. It seeps in. One night, I woke up and noticed the glow of her screen under the blankets while she typed something fast, then locked her phone when she felt me shift. I didn't say a word. People think silence means nothing is wrong. But in a marriage, silence has weight. And the weight in our home was getting heavier. That's when I realized the cracks weren't coming from noise. They were coming from quiet. The night Kimberly told me about Miami, she did it the same way someone mentions picking up milk. Casual, harmless, almost careless. We were eating dinner at the kitchen counter, just the two of us. She took a slow sip of water, then said, "Oh, by the way, a few of my old college friends are planning a trip next month. Miami." I didn't react right away. "Miami? That's random." She shrugged. "They want to do a small reunion. Nothing big, just catching up." I kept my eyes on her, waiting. Something in her voice felt too light, too planned. Then she added it, the real detail, like she hoped I wouldn't notice. "Leonard might come too." I paused. "Leonard? Your ex." She blinked fast. "It was years ago, Andrew. Don't make it weird." I didn't say anything. "You paused like you're about to," she said, narrowing her eyes a little. I wiped my hands with a napkin. "I just want to understand. Why Miami? Why him? Why now?" Kimberly let out a breath, annoyed. "It's a group thing. Stop acting like it means something." "I'm asking because you brought it up," I said calmly. "That's all." She leaned back. "You're not going to start being jealous, right? That's not you." "It's not," I said. "I'm asking simple questions." She crossed her arms. "Andrew, it's just a trip. I need a break from work. They invited me. End of story." I nodded once. No raised voice, no accusation, no questioning her loyalty. Just a nod. "If it's something you want," I said, "then go." Her expression shifted. Surprise, confusion, maybe even relief. "Good. I thought you'd get controlling or something." "That's not who I am," I answered. Later that night, I walked past the bedroom door and heard her laughing on the phone. Soft, excited. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard from her in weeks. The moment she sensed me nearby, the sound cut off. Again, I didn't say a word. Because sometimes the truth doesn't show up in arguments. Sometimes it shows up in the tone someone uses when they think you're not listening. The weeks leading up to Miami felt like watching a door slowly close while pretending it was still open. Kimberly wasn't openly hostile, but she wasn't present either. Conversations shrank. Dinner felt like two people sharing a table, not a life. Every time her phone buzzed, she picked it up fast, smiling at the screen before putting it face down again. One evening, she stood in the hallway packing dresses into a suitcase she hadn't used in years. I leaned on the doorframe and asked, "So, who exactly is going?" She didn't look up. Same people I told you. College crew. You don't know them. And Leonard? She zipped a side pocket. I told you already. He's part of the group. Don't turn it into a thing. I didn't, I said quietly. She sighed, irritated by my calm. You always do that. Do what? Ask questions like you're taking notes. I almost smiled. I just like honesty. Kimberly rolled her eyes. Well, everything's clear. It's 4 days. I'll be busy most of the time anyway. Okay, I replied. But I noticed the shift. She wasn't reassuring me. She was avoiding responsibility. There's a difference. A few days later, I met Michael again after work. He watched me for a while before speaking. She's checked out, he said. You see that, right? I see something, I answered. You're too calm, man. Most guys would be flipping tables. That's why I'm not like most guys. He smirked but didn't argue. The morning she left, I drove her to the airport. No tension, no fight, just a strange, quiet disconnect. Kimberly kept scrolling on her phone until we pulled up to the drop-off lane. She leaned over, kissed my cheek quickly, and said, Don't get jealous while I'm gone. I looked at her and replied, Jealous men make noise. I don't. Her smile faltered for half a second, like she couldn't tell if it was a threat or a fact. She stepped out, pulled her suitcase behind her, and disappeared into the crowd. I didn't text her after she boarded. I wanted to see how long it took her to notice the silence. Kimberly sent her first message 5 hours after landing. Made it. Long flight. 2 hours later. Going to rest. Busy day tomorrow. I didn't reply. There was nothing to reply to. The next evening she wrote, Exhausted. But I saw something else. I was scrolling through my phone when I saw a post from her friend Farina. A picture of a rooftop bar overlooking South Beach. People drinking, laughing, pressed close under neon lights. Kimberly was in the middle, hair loose, holding a drink, sitting shoulder to shoulder with Leonard. Too close to be casual, too familiar to be innocent. She hadn't mentioned any rooftop. I didn't comment, didn't like it, didn't react. I just put my phone down. The next morning, Michael sent me a video someone forwarded him. Thought you should see this, he wrote. I opened it. A short clip, shaky but clear enough. Kimberly on a balcony, leaning on the rail, laughing at something Leonard whispered. His hand slid across her back, slow, confident. She didn't move away. She laughed harder. I watched the clip twice, not because I needed proof, because I wanted to see what she looked like when she thought she had nothing to explain. That night, Kimberly texted, You're quiet. I stared at the screen for a full minute before replying. Just letting you enjoy the space you chose. No anger, no accusation, just truth. She responded, What's that supposed to mean? I didn't answer. Hours later, another message popped up. I'll call you tomorrow. I put the phone face down. I wasn't waiting for explanations. I wasn't waiting for confessions. I was waiting for the silence to do its job. She didn't call the next day like she said she would. She waited until nearly midnight. The phone lit up on my nightstand. Kimberly. I let it ring twice before answering. Her voice came through shaky, softer than usual. Why are you acting like this? Like what? I kept my tone even. Like you don't care, she said. You're being distant. I leaned back against the headboard. I'm paying attention. That's all. To what? She snapped, irritation slipping through. Andrew, you're making something out of nothing. Farina posted a nice picture, I said calmly. Rooftop bar. Looked fun. Silence. A long one. Then she spoke, defensive, too fast. It was a group thing. Everyone was there. I saw the balcony video too, I added. Her breath caught. That wasn't... Andrew, that clip was taken at a bad angle. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. Her tone cracked. Nothing happened with Leonard. I didn't ask if something happened. She paused again, this time longer, softer. Then what are you saying? I stared at the wall, voice steady. I'm saying I stopped asking questions you don't want to answer. Her voice dropped. Are you leaving me? No, I said, but I'm done fighting for a place you're not protecting. Andrew, stop. Don't talk like that. Now she sounded like she was holding back tears. Are you punishing me? If I wanted to punish you, I said, I'd yell. I'm just accepting what you already chose. She sniffed hard, frustration mixing with panic. I just needed a break. A break from me? I didn't say that, she whispered. But that's what it was. The line stayed quiet long enough for me to hear her breathing unevenly. Andrew, please don't give up on us. I closed my eyes. I'm not giving up. I'm stepping back. And before she could respond, I ended the call. 5 minutes later, I opened my laptop, pulled up listings, checked prices, and started planning the move. Not out of anger, out of clarity. Kimberly came home dragging her suitcase through the door like nothing had changed. She called out, Andrew? The same way she always did, but the tone was different, tight, uncertain. I was sitting on the couch, a few boxes stacked neatly by the wall. Her eyes locked on them instantly. What is this? I started packing, I said. Packing? She laughed once, confused and nervous. For what? For space, I answered. The kind you've been taking without saying. Her smile dropped. Andrew, stop. You're overreacting. I didn't argue. Okay. She blinked, thrown off by how calmly I said it. You think I cheated. I think you acted single, I replied. There's a difference, but the outcome's the same. Her jaw tightened. You saw a couple of pictures and suddenly you're done with our marriage? I shook my head. I'm done feeling like an afterthought. Kimberly stepped closer, hands shaking slightly. It wasn't like that. Leonard and I... You don't owe me explanations now, I said. You owed them before you got on the plane. Her face crumpled for a second before she caught herself. I was overwhelmed. I needed a break. I liked feeling noticed. I nodded. It was the first honest sentence she'd given me in months. And you didn't think it would hit this hard, I said. No, she whispered. I thought you'd, I don't know, fight for me. I did, I told her. Every day I stayed. You just didn't see it. She looked around the room like it was suddenly unfamiliar. The missing photos on the wall, the empty spaces where my things used to be, it all finally registered. You're really leaving? She asked. For now, I said. I need distance. You took yours in Miami. I'm taking mine here. She covered her mouth with her hand, trying not to break down. Andrew, please, don't do this. I stood up, picked up one of the boxes, and said, You chose your moment. I'm choosing mine. And for the first time since she left for Miami, she understood I wasn't bluffing. This wasn't revenge. This was the consequence she never planned for. The morning after I moved into a short-term rental, Kimberly started texting nonstop. We need to talk. Please answer. I'm sorry, I messed everything up. I didn't reply. Talking wasn't going to fix anything. Talking was what she used to keep things from falling apart. Silence, this time, was the truth. 2 days later, I went to a lawyer's office and started the divorce paperwork. The attorney looked at me over his glasses and asked, Are you sure you want to proceed this quickly? Yes. We filed the documents. When Kimberly received the papers, she called 10 times in a row, then sent one message that told me everything. I didn't think you'd actually leave. That afternoon, she showed up at Michael's place looking wrecked. I wasn't there, but he later told me. She asked if you hated her, he said. She was crying in the hallway. I nodded. She's hurting. That's expected. Do you want me to talk to her? No, I said. There's nothing left to explain. And then he told me something that didn't surprise me but confirmed everything. After seeing the divorce papers, she reached out to Leonard, like she needed someone to make her feel she hadn't blown up her life for nothing. But Leonard brushed her off immediately. He told her Miami was just good vibes, nothing serious, and that he didn't want any part of her problems. Within days, he stopped replying altogether. A week later, we sat across from each other at the lawyer's conference table. Kimberly's hands shook as she signed each page. She kept wiping her eyes, trying to stay composed. Andrew, she whispered, please don't do this. We can fix it. I kept my voice calm. We can't fix something you didn't protect. She pressed her palms against her forehead. Leonard meant nothing. It was stupid. I didn't think you'd stop loving me. I didn't stop loving, I said. I just stopped begging. That broke her. After the meeting, she followed me to the parking lot, crying openly now. Tell me what to do, she pleaded. Anything. I'll do anything. I shook my head. We're past that. People think heartbreak happens when someone walks away. Sometimes it happens when someone doesn't follow. A week after the lawyer meeting, Kimberly posted a photo on social media, a sunset picture with a caption that didn't mention me by name, but didn't have to. Sometimes you don't realize who loved you most until the silence hits. Friends sent it to me with messages like, "You okay, man?" and "What happened between you two?" I kept my replies short. We grew apart. It was the cleanest version of the truth. I didn't check her profile again after that. I didn't block her, didn't delete her number, didn't erase our history. I just stopped needing any of it. My new apartment was smaller, quieter, far from the life Kimberly and I built. But it felt balanced. I cooked simple meals. I picked up old habits I had dropped over the years, reading before bed, early morning runs, long showers with no one waiting outside the door. One night, as I sat by the window with a cup of coffee, I caught myself replaying everything, not out of longing, but out of clarity. I remembered the first laughs, the quiet Sundays, the calm years. And then I remembered the shift, the distance, the locked phone, the Miami invitation, the balcony video, and the silence that followed. There was no single moment that ended the marriage. It died in pieces. Little choices, small lies, ignored warnings. Miami was just the part she couldn't take back. Now, months later, I don't feel anger. I don't feel victory. I feel something simpler. Space. Quiet. A life that doesn't need defending. People think silence means weakness, but the loudest thing I ever said was nothing at all. Thank you for watching.